So the other day I was walking through my local thrift store and I found this pretty cool Nerf long strike. Now this thing just looks pretty awesome, you know, this cool looking sniper rifle here. Only problem with this, if I go ahead and fire it, I mean, there's zero power coming out of this thing. That dart flew 10 feet in front of me. I mean, for how this thing looks, I think we can do a bit better. So the general idea is I want to use PVC to make a little air tank in here and then release the pressure with this sprinkler valve to release the air into the barrel. Obviously the first step is taking this whole thing apart and seeing what we're working with on the inside. We're going to get rid of most of this stuff in here, right? Because we're not really using any of the firing components. So let's get most of this out of here. Again, I want to maintain this breech mechanism so I can use that magazine and feed darts in repeatedly. So this is part of the breech mechanism with this sliding back and forth. So I need to find a way to keep this part here. Okay, so the breech seems like it's going to be kind of a pain to deal with, and I just don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to put that to the side and just do the air tank and the sprinkler valve for now. So, okay, before I put the air tank together and do all that with the layout, I need to consider where I want to put the air compressor. Now, I picked up this Bear air compressor. A lot of times when I see people make these air guns, they're just a one-time use. So they go over to the air compressor or the bicycle pump it up a million times and get one shot of it and that's it. I want this to be fully enclosed, self-contained, and you can just pressurize the whole system on its own and then fire it whenever you want. You don't have to be tied to an air compressor or a bicycle pump or anything like that. So I need to figure out how to attach that to the gun or blaster. This does use the Harbor Freight battery platform, whatever this brand is called, however you pronounce it. Now, I don't have any batteries for that, but what I do have is this Ryobi adapter. So it's just this female end socket with two wires hanging off of it, and it'll take a Ryobi battery, and then I can connect this to whatever I need. So hopefully I can just wire this up to that and get it to work. So let's make sure that works before we do anything else. All right, well, there's no real markings on these terminals here to know positive from negative, so I'm just gonna take a guess. Okay, well, that's not good. I'm gonna take this apart and see what damage I just did there. Hopefully we didn't kill it, but I don't know, that smoke. We let the magic smoke out, so we'll see. I don't think all hope is lost because the motor does say, the motor does say 18 volts on it, and again, I'm using an 18 volt battery. This is made for a 20 volt battery system, so I think it's just a power step down board, as well as like maybe a speed controller or something. I'm gonna take it off, wire it straight to the battery, and we'll see what happens. You guys can see, yeah, right there. Looks like that diode burst. I'm debating right now whether I should keep the compressor in its shell and just cut out the unnecessary parts to it, just kind of slim it down, or somehow, I mean, just take the components out, mount it in place, and then cover them later on, maybe 3D print a little housing for this, just to cover the gears up, as well as this fan here. The only thing I'm concerned about is this fan. I think it does serve a purpose. It looks like it's for ventilation, so I can't completely seal it off. So I might just cut around the housing and just take away what I don't need here, but let's see. quick trip to Home Depot later, and I think I have this thing pretty much situated how I want. So the air tank is going to sit on top of the blaster, and then I have two 90 degrees coming, making a U-turn. And then how I'm going to connect it to the actual breech is I found that the back end of the breech here, because this part slides in and out from here. So really if I just cut off the end of this part and adapt it to a piece of a coupler here, this should be fine. Again, this doesn't have to be perfectly airtight because all the pressure is held in the air tank itself, and then the air is just going to rush through it and it's not holding pressure for a prolonged period. So I'm not too worried about being a perfect seal. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to cut out the back of the housing here. Whoops. Right here, just so I can get the coupler, of course, to go from the outside into the blaster. So I'm going to line this up here, trace around it, and then just use the Dremel tool, the cutoff wheel, or the whatever this is, and cut out the little indent here for it. So, all right, well that was easy. So there we go. We have our cutout right there, and this should allow this to sit in here. Whoops. Well, kind of. All right, I think I have this pretty much trimmed out to how I want it. Now I just need to find a way to connect the coupler here to this breech barrel. I think I'm just gonna wrap this in electrical tape till it fits in here snugly, and then maybe put a bead of hot glue around it. Again, it doesn't have to be very airtight, it's just enough to hold this in place and let the air go into the barrel. We have the completed valve assembly. So basically the air tank is going to connect here to this little gray part here on top of the blaster. And then when this is switched on, the air is going to rush out from the valve, go through these two 90-degree elbows, come out this breech, and then hopefully out the barrel. But we'll put that to the side for now because I need to figure out a way to power everything. Okay, I have the wiring pretty much dry fit all in here. So the battery's going to sit up front. I have two leads, positive and negative, going to the back here. All the switches are happening from the positive lead. Let me go ahead and try this out. So the battery is on, and then if the solenoid is working, I should hear a click when I hit this button. Perfect. And then this button here would be for the compressor. Let's see. All right, so after inhaling half a pound of microplastics, the stock is finally done, shaved down. Compressor fits in pretty nice. As you can see, it's gonna stick out. It's gonna stick out the back a little bit. That way I can see the pressure gauge right here. Not leave much to work with here, but again, I needed more on the other end too, so didn't really have a choice. All right, that should be good. I think that's good there. Okay, I might have just enough slack here to wire both of these switches together, because they are pretty close. So hopefully if we get lucky, yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, I might have gotten a little carried away, skipped a few steps, but we are pretty much done here. I just need to put in all the screws, secure the air compressor here in the back. I think I'm just gonna probably just zip tie it in place for now. And by for now, I mean until it breaks and I need to figure out a more permanent solution. And I also still need to figure out a way to mount the battery because it didn't really seat properly in that area. So I might have to build a little, like a buddy plate or something and screw it together, I don't know. All right, the way I have this wired up, 18 volt Ryobi battery up here in the front. Wiring is going towards the back. It splits off into two switches, all right? So the primary switch here, let me turn on the battery first. primary switch here, if you can hear the relay go, or the solenoid. So that's the valve opening and closing right there. The secondary switch is actually behind the breech. I put it inside behind the breech, so when I cock it and pull the breech back, it should... Oh, that's a little stiff. Fixed the issue, there was still some plastic that was binding against the switch, so it wasn't priming properly, but now I can show it to you in all of its glory. When this comes back, it goes ahead all the way back, hits the switch, and then it pressurizes the air canister, and we have our pressure valve. This is going to be the first test. I'm going to go to maybe 40 psi and just dry fire. Nothing's in the mag. Okay, that jumped straight to 100 for some reason. Let's see if anything comes out. I don't think the valve is on there properly. Let me try this again, 1 second. Because it shouldn't have jumped up that quick. I mean, that would have made no sense. So this is test 2. Let's try this again. So it jumped straight to about 60 psi. There's 80 psi. Here we go. Am I doing something wrong? It's been a couple days now since I've been working on this, and I think I know maybe what the problem is. It seems like the air isn't coming out as fast as I want it from this specific valve, so I got a different one. I'm going to swap it out. Maybe that's going to help. If that doesn't help here, I'm going to make the air tank larger, because more volume of air means more of it will come out faster, and we'll go from there. Still about the same. Maybe I just need more volume of air going through the valve. So this is a relatively small air tank, I would assume. So maybe I'm just going to make this larger and try that. So I went ahead and made a much larger air tank. As you can see, here's the old one. This is the new one here. So hopefully with this increase in volume, this should allow for a lot more air to rush through the valve at one time and give us a lot more pressure coming out of the barrel here. Alright, new canister is in place. I'm going to hook up the air compressor to it here. Make sure those wires aren't touching. Turn on the power, and let's go ahead and pressurize. There we go. So first test is going to be at 60 psi. Let's see. Okay, it seems like the new valve I bought was not as good as the old one I was using. When I swapped back to the old valve with the larger air tank, I just tested it out. I wasn't recording, unfortunately, and it just made a loud sound when I pressed the trigger. So I think this will be fine. Let me try it one more time, just for you guys. All right, that's 60 psi, and here we go. Okay, much louder than last time, so it does seem like there's a good amount of air coming out. I think this is it. I think we just needed a larger air tank and the original valve. So let's go ahead, thread everything back together, get it sealed back up, and test it out. Of course, we still need to figure out how to feed a dart into the barrel here, but we'll get to that in a sec. Let's just make sure everything's working with good air coming out of it, and we'll go from there. All right, here is our ridiculous Nerf blaster. So we have a much larger air tank now, so I think that should make a pretty big difference. I went ahead and put the magazine in with some short darts. I'm going to pressurize this to, I think, 60 psi and see what happens here. We're at a little above 60. We're going to go ahead and let's try to stand this up a little bit. I'm going to chamber around, and keep in mind there is no barrel to the front here, so this is just the dart sitting inside the breech. I think the majority of our problem is coming from the fact that we're trying to deal with this magazine and seal around it, so it's going to be, it's kind of a pain, but I think we can get it to work. Alright, we got everything situated here. Everything is attached and working. So I ended up just gluing the 18-volt Ryobi battery in the front here. And if we bring the breech back, it inflates the air tank right here. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and put a magazine in here. It's a little difficult to hold. There we go. And that's locked. I'm going to charge to about 80 psi. Alright, so we're charged up, and if I bring this forward, we should be able to rack a dart in there. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to shoot it at this cardboard right here. Oh yeah, that went straight through the cardboard. Bounced back out. There we go. Alright, let's take this thing outside and give it a test. Okay, we have a cardboard box set up about 30 feet over there. It's a little windy. I'm going to try to hit it. I'm inflated to about 90 psi. I'm going to try my best here to see if we can hit it. Make sure I'm lined up here. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I didn't rack it forward. Okay, test number 2. Again, 90 psi. I'm actually going to push this forward this time. And here we go. Looks pretty lined up. In 3, 2, 1. Alright, I don't know what test this is, but we have a larger target out, so hopefully that'll increase our chances. Here we go. Okay, let's see. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I want to just compare the hitting power from this distance to my X-Shot long shot. This is one of the more powerful blasters that I have, so if it's stronger than this one, I mean, that's pretty good. Let's see. Alright, 3, 2, 1. So as we can see, this is where we hit it with our new pre-made or homemade blaster. And then where the X-Shot hit it was somewhere in this top corner. As you can see, there's not even a dent anywhere. And this one hits pretty strong, so we're definitely shooting a higher FPS than the X-Shot. Hey guys, Bass from the editing room here. Now, without making this video too long, I decided to do a full proper series of tests in a completely different video. So this includes testing it on different items, maybe even 3D printing some different types of ammunition, so that would give me proper piercing power, and maybe we could even make some homemade ballistics gel to test it on. So if you have any suggestions or want to see me shoot it at specific items, make sure you leave it down in the comments down below. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to stay tuned for that future video, as well as any other projects that I may have. So thank you very much.